Hello and welcome to the Frontenac building, which is a 53-suite apartment block on the 20 block of Lawrence Street, just off Victoria Avenue. It's a beautiful building that's been a fixture here on the 20 block of Lawrence Street since 1929, when it was first constructed by a very well-known architectural firm of Van Egmond and Story. Now, they built this building back in 1929 in a time span of just 7 months from March to October, and at a price tag of around $200,000. Now, when you consider the inflation rates, if you were to convert $200,000 to today's standards, that would be about $2.7 million. Now, when Nicor Group and Campbell and Halliburton bought this building in 2015, they underwent a major renovation just to bring this building back to its former glory and upgrade a couple of things like the sewer, the mechanical. We did upgrades to most of the suites in the building and just sort of brought things back to make sure that this building will continue to exist for many decades into the future. You can see here on one piece of paper all the beautiful architectural elements which are included in this wonderful building. You can see the Spanish colonial revival style reflected in the red terracotta roof, which is such an iconic part of the Frontenac. You can also see all the little touches and details, the staggered balconies and the windows, the arched entryway and the central courtyard. It's a bit of an English arts and crafts style, and they didn't really have any sort of one architectural style that they were married to. It was a very eclectic way of building, which is reflective of many buildings in downtown Regina. This is just one, but now let's go take a look at the rest of the building. Come with me. So not only the suites and the common space on the Frontenac beg further inspection, but also the hallways. When you look at the detail that's in every inch of this space, there's almost too many places to look.
Absolutely. Like right now we're standing in front of a door that had originally been slated for the elevators into this building. There's two major stories about why they're not here. They were never installed, but one is that there was not enough room on the first floor to actually install the elevator. The other one is that we are now in the Depression, and that was one of the things that they did to cut the costs for the elevator.
There have been quite a few stories and different versions of events related to the Frontenac, which is part of its charm. I think people say that it was originally supposed to be more stories than it currently is, and that's why there is no elevator, and it seems every person you ask has a different version, a different truth when it's related to this building. Here we are inside one of the larger suites in the Frontenac apartments. This suite is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,060 square feet, and the pièce de résistance is that it has a balcony with a beautiful view overlooking the courtyard. And more than that, this suite sort of evokes some memories for a lot of people in downtown Regina, because it was the longtime home of Harold and Jan Haig, who of course were such big boosters of the downtown Regina lifestyle.
This is such a fabulous suite. I remember coming here to meet Jan Haig, and I came into the hallways. The hallways were just so, it was like you stepped back in time. And I remember Jan calling my name out from up here saying, "Are you lost?" And I said, "No, this is such a fabulous building. I'm sightseeing on my way up." It was just amazing.
This suite was home to some former prominent Regina residents as well. Edgar Petersmeyer and his wife Ethelene lived in this exact suite at the Frontenac, and for them it was just considered the lap of luxury, and it was quite opulent. And Edgar was a farmer, and he just loved being able to show off this space. He had a big impressive fancy car and a big impressive fancy apartment to match, and he's actually a relative of Ann Petersmeyer, who helped us with the renovations of the space as well. So this is an example of one of the suites that hasn't been renovated particularly, but you can still see how it would have been very impressive at the time.
So the former owner of the building carpeted the floors in this building. All the floors are hardwood, but he felt like he needed to protect those floors, so this is still the last vintage carpet in the building, and this is a really great use of vintage furniture in a more update, modern usage in the building.
It's nice to see different suites have sort of different snapshots of the different eras that this building has seen, different residents who have come by and put their own personal touches on the suite. You can see this one. The current residents have really made the most of the dining room, turning it into a bit of a bar space with a feature wall, and they do lots of entertaining here, and it really pops.
So everyone has their own interpretation of the building. You see some people who use period furniture, and here we have both incorporated.
Right next door, and it looks fantastic.
Absolutely. In the late 20s, the milkman came in his horse-drawn wagon. He accessed the building through the servants' staircase, and he would deliver milk to each unit via a little door that's louvered on the outside. You didn't even have to step outside of your apartment. You opened the door from the inside, you got your brand new bottle of milk, started breakfast, didn't even have to leave your apartment.
And people would leave their money in the chute, and then the products would be delivered and the money would be taken away. And I understand that was the way things ran for quite a long time. Because of fire codes, we've had to since close up the milk chutes, but we've maintained the way they would have looked from the outside, and even put in some period type advertisements just to sort of harken back to a different time. We've tried to incorporate some museum elements like the television or the radio or the exhibit on the wall in the laundry room into sort of everyday life where people are, instead of having them go to a brick and mortar museum.
Back in 1929, this building was state of the art. And if you look at the laundry room now, you think, wow, this was very vintage, but the washing machines that were in the laundry room are actually some of the washing machines that were there during the time. This was a building where appliances were state of the art, and that it freed women from the arduous tasks of doing housework, and that they could spend more time being active in the outside world.
It's amazing the snapshot that you get of a very specific period in time with the exhibit that's been placed on the laundry room wall. You see the old appliances that women of the time would have been forced to sort of wrestle with to get the laundry clean, and then this new state-of-the-art washing machine that's still there that just was such a symbol of freedom.
This is a steam boiler. It's not like a hot water boiler, so these radiators within this building are really nice and toasty. The coal came down a coal chute and then it was shoveled into the boilers, and that's what fed the steam boiler. So a steam boiler is like what they have in hospitals. It's almost like a more of a commercial use, and that's why they would have had it here, because this is a big building and it's heating all the units in this apartment.
From the outside, it looks like just one building, but it's actually made up of a north and a south wing, which are only connected by this room here in the lower level. When we first bought the building in 2015, this room was closed off, and now we have been able to restore it to its former glory. There is beautiful furnishings, including a pool table, a lounge area, a kitchen, and it's open to all Frontenac residents free of charge to come down and use this space if they wanted to rent it out for a gathering. Some of the suites here are quite small, so they can use it as sort of an extended living room and just really make themselves at home and just enjoy the ambiance of this beautiful space. A lot of the touches here bring it back to when it would have been originally constructed. The light fixtures on the ceiling are chandeliers that were found in a back room in boxes that were reinstalled, and they look like they were just put in yesterday. When you look at the floor, you see these tiles. We were trying to decide what to put on the floor, and they found a box of this beautiful black and brown tile, and the contractor said it's the oldest new floor he's ever put in, and it just really makes this space sing. It's the perfect way to cap off this beautiful mix of old meets new.